Hey everyone, welcome to the Coach Catalyst podcast. This show is about helping you grow as a coach by standing on the shoulders of giants. Each show, you get a different mentor in your ear. The early motivations, the successes, the failures, the tools, the tricks, and the insight into where the industry is going. All of it so you can make your own dent in the world. Remember, success leaves clues. Now, without further ado, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Coach Catalyst podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Whitwer. On today's episode, this is a special episode where it's a coaching call episode, and I've got my guy, Seth, on today's episode. Now, Seth has an offline business, and he's dabbled a little bit in the online world, but he's not looking to make the jump fully into the online world. He kind of wants a 50-50 split where he has 50% of his revenue coming from offline, in person, and 50% coming from the online world or the virtual world. Now, this is becoming more and more common for those people that own brick and mortars. And so this episode is going to be great if you have a brick and mortar and you're looking for that second location. And you don't want that second location to be a brick and mortar location. You want that second location to have a lot less overhead, a lot less headache, and a lot more profit. So you decide to do the virtual location. Now, some people, when they decide to do the second virtual location, they try and reinvent the wheel and they try to win the internet. And there's a much smarter way to go about that. And we talk about that with Seth and help give him a strategy moving forward so that he can create his virtual second location. I know you're going to love this episode of the Coach Catalyst podcast with my guy, Seth. All right, let's get to it. So give me just some background. Let's start with just kind of like background on business, what you've got going on, just so we get some context first, and then we'll jump into the specifics.
Yeah, well, as my little boy said right there, I'm a personal trainer, and I train locally at a gym. Been doing that for probably 8 years now, so ever since 2015, okay. And do a little bit of online stuff as well. I work with about 20 clients, and I'd say 80% of that's in person, and the rest is online. So online through like some coachcatalyst, some pro coach, some FaceTime stuff, and things like that. So nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, all that fun stuff. Precision nutrition certified, so I got that going, and that's pretty much me. I'm a simple man.
No, that's good. And so what is the goal with the online? Is it really just to kind of supplement offline income, or is the goal eventually to move entirely online, or is there any goal at all?
Yeah, so there is a goal for sure. That's a good question. I would love to do kind of a 50-50 mix. Ever since having kids, it's really changed my mind, and I don't want to miss those moments, and I really want to help more people too. And I think that going more online, I've got all the systems I need to do that. It's just, how do I get it out there? And, what are the best ways to do? So.
Cool. Well, let's kind of start digging into that then. Because that was one of the main questions, right? It was like, how do I get this out there into the online world?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, let's dig into it. So, the first thing, right, that I usually like to look at with people is, where do you currently have leverage? Right? Like what do you currently have leverage with? So you already are doing offline training, right? So that's a leverage point that you would already have from an audience influence standpoint, right? Most people, when they think about online, and I say this so much, I almost feel like I'm like repeating it ad nauseum, but most online coaches think that they need to get clients in like the Instagram social world for an online business. But all online coaching it's a different delivery model. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing as offline coaching. It's just delivered in a different way. And so that doesn't mean that we now need to go get clients in a different way. Mm-hmm. And so I find that most coaches have more success with getting clients in a kind of quote unquote offline world, mm-hmm. but then their delivery model is an online delivery model. Sure. And so just like if you were going out to get more clients for your personal training, you're doing the same thing, but your delivery mechanism is just different.
Right.
That's
good.
And typically the online world, lends itself more to this like holistic type of coaching, right? Like if someone needs exercise instruction, the online world probably isn't the best spot for them, right? They need to be in person. They need to be working with you. You need to have eyes on them, right? But for the person that really wants to overhaul their life, where they need it all. They need better movement. They need better nutrition. Their mindset is crap.
Yeah.
Their recovery is garbage. Their sleep is garbage. Now, this online model is much more interesting, right? Because it's not just sets and reps. It's more about helping this person ultimately live a better life and get closer to their goals. Hey there, you sexy little W. Sorry for interrupting your regular programming. This is Trevor. Now, I've got a big announcement, something I'm really, really excited about, and that is the Super Coaches Summit, our Coach Catalyst Summit that is taking place in August 5th and 6th in Reston, Virginia, right outside of the Dulles Airport. Super easy to get to. Now, we've been to a lot of events. We go to a lot of events, and we wanted to make this event different. Most events are educational. You have great speakers on stage. You take a bunch of notes. You go home and do nothing. Right? We want this event to be more practical. We want it to be tactical. We want you to leave the event with a better business than when you came. Not going home and hoping that you implementing at the event. And then the second thing we want this event to be is the best networking, connecting, collaborating event you've ever been to. So we've got some really special things in store to facilitate those connections. So if you're looking for a different event, something that's going to level you up and an event that's going to allow you to have a better business when you leave than when you came, definitely check out the Super Coaches Summit. We are dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's. This thing is going to be on point, and I want you to be there. So my first question in this is, have you defined like who that person is, that like clear avatar on who you would serve in this online world or delivery model, I should say?
Yeah. So when I think of my avatar, I think of usually like a 35 to a 45-year-old who is busy. They've tried all the diets, all the counting calories, all the unrealistic workout routines, and they're just sick of it. And this is where I kind of come in with the whole, habit-based coaching, which is why I love Coach Catalyst so much. It's all about that.
What do they want to accomplish? So if that person is with you for 1 year, what's their ideal outcome?
Yeah. So, they're just trying to develop better habits that they can take with them for the rest of their life. And, of course, the whole weight loss, that's there, 15 to 20 pounds is what I normally see from people when I first meet with them, but it goes much deeper with that. It's, hey, I want to keep up with my kids. I want to be able to do yard work without, being out of breath, going up and down the stairs, those kinds of things.
Do you find that when people come to you initially, those are the things that come for you, even in the offline world? Like, are those the things they're saying in that initial consultation?
I need to dig deep. I need to ask those big questions and really, really try to penetrate and keep asking why. Otherwise, it's just, the typical, I just want to get stronger and I want to be healthier. Well, what does that mean to you?
So, in order to dig deeper, right, you need to be able to have that conversation. And so it's thinking about what's the gap between that initial them hearing about it and having that conversation. Like, what do we need to close in that gap, or what do we need to kind of promise in a way that gets us even to that conversation, right? Because a lot of people, if it's the weight loss world, right, aren't like, when we dig into it, yes, it is like a lot deeper than like weight loss, but like at the surface, many times it's like, I need to lose weight. Like I just tried on a pair of pants and they didn't fit, and I need to do something about this now. Or I just looked in the mirror and like, I just don't like where I'm at. And so I need to do something about this now. And so it's like, how do you make sure that you're available when that light bulb goes off or that aha moment happens and they know like to call you, right?
Right.
My favorite thing about Coach Catalyst.
One of the things I love most about Coach Catalyst.
There are lots of things I love about Coach Catalyst.
And the reason why I love Coach Catalyst is that
the accountability off the back of that
is simplicity.
The support is amazing.
It allows me to give so much of me to my clients.
The drip feeding of content.
I can schedule lessons for my clients in advance.
Game changer for freeing up time.
It gives me my time back.
It's so simple and so easy.
Hi, I'm
Kane, the founder of Coach Catalyst, the #1 accountability and communication software on the market today. We help coaches just like you keep their clients accountable and scale their business beyond what they've ever been able to do before. So if that sounds like something you want, let's take a look at how we can help. So Coach Catalyst was built on the 4 C's of coaching. Those are content, communication, community, and consistency. So for content, you need to go beyond just workouts and deliver the whole experience for the client so they get the results they deserve. For communication, you need to own your communication. If you don't own the communication, you don't own the client. So make sure you stop texting clients and use a centralized platform. For communities, get off of Facebook groups and take ownership over your social group with Coach Catalyst communities. And for consistency, the foundation of all results for clients, we took the best-selling book Atomic Habits and built all these fundamentals right within our app that's going to guarantee to get your clients the best results possible. If you want to start using the 4 C's with your clients, content, connection, community, and consistency, make sure you run over to Coach Catalyst and start a free trial today.
And so from an audience standpoint, what are you doing currently, or what do you have from as far as an asset, an audience standpoint? Do you have a regular email list? Are you doing a lot of social stuff? What are you doing right now from that standpoint?
Yeah, so I've bumped up my Facebook and Instagram, usually to about 2 or 3 times a day, and it's not just throwing stuff out there and hoping it sticks with people. It's giving them as much value as I can, stuff that they can put into action right away, habits to work on right away, taking stuff from my program that I've built through Coach Catalyst and kind of taking some gold nuggets and throwing it out there for them. But like you said, you can kind of get caught up in that, and it's really not all about just throwing stuff out there. And so, I don't want to get caught up too much in that because I'm doing what I need to do. It's just, do I need to be running ads? Do I need to be, what that's the biggest hurdle for me.
How many people would you need in order for you to feel like this is a successful venture, a successful business?
Honestly, not many. 5 to 8. I mean, it's a big 7-month program, and it's kind of a higher ticket, purchase. Right. So, yeah. Okay.
So, 5 to 8 is not a lot, right? That's not 10,000.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so you can find 5 to 8 in probably your current circle and in just relationships that you already have, right? And so maybe less of the focus needs to be on putting content out there, hoping people resonate with it and building that relationship, to more of hey, what's my current relationships, right? All the clients that are already currently trained, who's 1 degree away from them that I could potentially help, right? Who in my local community could I go in and do a talk for, right? And then get in front of those people that could potentially benefit from what I'm offering. Because if you can get in front of them for 30 minutes, 45 minutes and educate them and kind of take them through a process, you're going to be much further ahead than a post on Facebook or a post on Instagram, right? Yeah, you're in front of the room, you're an authority, they're going to take you a lot more serious, right? And if it's in front of the right groups and the right avatar, and that's why we always kind of start with who's the ideal person. Yeah. And so, all right, if we know who the person is that's going to purchase this, where does that person live? What groups is that person part of? And now how do I get in front of those groups? Or how do I connect with the people that are in charge of those groups so I can come in and provide value? And now we can go from education to giving them a little bit of an offer to come in and try and work with us, and then eventually maybe move them into our bigger program. All the while we're still building the social media and doing all of that, but this is a much faster way to new clients than hoping people DM us on Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's good.
And so, are you doing anything in the community right now on a regular basis?
That's a deep question. The answer is no, and I need to. I think I've gotten too comfortable with the clientele that I have that I just haven't dug into them enough, and I know I need to.
As a coach that runs challenges, I needed my life back. I had stuff all over the place. A Facebook group for community interaction, Google Sheets for check-ins and measurements, and was drowning in email communication. As my challenges grew past just a handful of people, I started to notice clients were falling through the cracks. I began researching virtual assistants because I just couldn't manage it all. And truthfully, the client experience was going down the drain. Luckily, a friend recommended Coach Catalyst and just told me to trust her. I'm sure glad I did. Now I can run my challenges with 2 or 200 clients with just a few clicks. The lessons get delivered on the right days, the accountability happens automatically, and most importantly, the communication is all in one spot. I even created 2 new challenges from the Coach Catalyst library. Best part, didn't have to change a thing. I used to spend 15 minutes just trying to log into all the apps I needed. Now I log in and my dashboard tells me who needs a shout out and who needs a kick in the butt in about 15 seconds. I feel like a huge weight is lifted off of my shoulders. I can finally spend my time coaching again instead of worrying about all the admin work. Do your brain a favor and get Coach Catalyst.
How, if we were to draw like a circle 10 miles around where you currently live, how many people would fall within that circle, do you think?
Oh, wow. Quite a lot. I'm in a big, pretty populated city. Yeah.
So like 100,000 people?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Right. So, I mean, there's probably more than enough people you would need within like a 5-mile radius of where you live that have the pains that you are able to solve. Right. And like, you just need to go meet them. Right. We need to go find them. And that's one of the reasons why I really like public speaking. 'Cause it's like a shortcut. It is kind of like a cheat code to the know, like, and trust factor, right? If you're on stage one time and someone did not know you before and you gave a great presentation and really helped them, they are all of a sudden going to know, like, and trust you in that 30 minutes and potentially want to work with you, versus that could take months. It could take years on social media, especially if we don't have a big following. Right. And so it's like, we only have so much energy to be able to give. And so it's like, what's the highest leverage activities that we can do? And so that's where I usually try and push coaches, even if they're in an online world. Can we get in our local community? And can we become known within 5 miles of where we're at as the person that solves this problem? Yeah. And you probably have more than enough clients to solve there. Yeah. And you can build a nice business, right? Because we're not talking about a $1 billion business that we want to sell to, you know what I mean? Right. So I think thinking about paid and that kind of stuff, it's not worth it at this point. Yeah. Yeah. And as you say that, I think of, like, I don't know why this popped in my head, but kind of like our social media is like a savings account. You're putting out stuff, there, and for people to come to you, if they come across and it's like, oh, he's got all this stuff. Great. But it's not like that, that main focus. So, well, I kind of see social media too as like a modern day business card. Or a modern day fact checker, right? Where many times someone will, like, if I have an employee, right, at one of my gyms, I'm going to Google them and I'm going to look them up on social media, because that kind of gives me some insight into who they are and what they're like. And so clients are going to do the same thing to us as coaches. They're going to look us up. Like, okay, is this person legit? Right. Like, and so if you are providing good content there, they're like, okay, yeah, like he is who he says he is, right? Okay, I can have more trust for this person. And so it's kind of like something that we need, but not necessarily for getting 5-day clients is something we need to invest all our energy in focusing there. Whereas you already have clients now, so you already have a level of leverage in your current community. And so it's like, how do you just leverage that more? It's just the deliver model is different, right? It's just online instead of in person. And you could even like play with a whole kind of hybrid approach where, maybe they're training 1 day a week with you and they're doing the rest on their own and they're doing this kind of full transformation type program. And so, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can create the model if they're local in a way. Sure. Yeah. That's great. Have you told your current clients about what you're doing and what you've created? I've put a couple people through it, kind of just like a little beta test to kind of see, what they think of it. And so some of them are still just going through, they're about halfway. I've had some hesitation just with it being, online, it's different, it's new. And so that's kind of, some drawback that I've had from people because they like that, one-on-one so much, but I can't spend every hour of the day in the gym. That's the problem. Is your gym, is it all one-on-one training that you're doing right now?
Yeah. So, you know Jill Stoppel Davis, right? Because you guys came to Kansas for a little training, and so I actually work at her gym. So just small one-on-one cozy gym, and some groups here and there. So
right, yeah. So I mean, you're in a big community, and like ultimately too, I would leverage your current client base. Most likely, I mean, they're doing personal training, so they're most likely affluent, and they probably have affluent friends, and just kind of letting them know what you're doing and ask for their advice. Like, hey, I've created this new program. Here's who it helps. Here's what problem it solves. And I mean, do you know of anybody that, could benefit from something like this? Or do you know anyone, or could you connect me with anyone that, I'm really getting into doing more public speaking, and I want to kind of help educate people on this and give them some strategies and some tools to overcome this. Are there any groups that you're part of that this could be interesting for, that you're looking for speakers? I would just start having those conversations and then see what comes up. Most likely you're 1 degree away from a big opportunity to get in front of something, right? And if you got in front of 30 people that were all of your perfect clients, you probably be able to convince a few of them to start working with you.
Sure.
And just to get an idea on the flow, are you going straight from client, do you want to sell this program, or is there an intermediate step as well?
Explain that.
So this is, how long is the program? 7 months?
About 7 months. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we also want to think about the jump, right? So someone that doesn't really know you to working with you for 7 months can be a big gap. Sure. And so is there a 3-week, a 21-day this, whatever, where you can kind of showcase your coaching skills? You can call it a front end offer, call it a trial, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Right. But where you can basically prove your value to them, that you can be the vehicle to their success. And then it's a whole lot easier to take that jump from, okay, cool, I trust Seth. Okay, I'm willing to work with him for the next 7 months because I want to accomplish this thing.
Yeah.
So that can be another thing if you are talking to groups. Sometimes it's easier, hey, I have this 14-day program. Maybe it's free, or it's $14 or whatever you want to charge for it. And you get people into that. And then the people that are successful with that, right, then they're a good candidate to move to the next one.
Yeah.
And unless someone is a good candidate, then they could move straight to the 7 months. But that can sometimes be a way to warm people up a little bit and get rid of some of the hesitation that they might have in working with you.
Yeah, I created a 1 week little trial, kind of just taking some gold nuggets from the program and piecing it together with, a free nutrition guide and, a 1 week free exercise, program. So it's just putting that together and showcasing it, I guess. Yeah.
So do you think one thing for you is just more putting it out there and seeing if there is interest in kind of the network that you already currently have?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I think I've just been too nervous to get it out there and push it, and I'm just too comfortable. So it's good I'm having this talk with you.
So, I mean, this is super common, and what happens a lot of the time is a lot of people spend time trying to perfect it.
Yes.
To an extent. And so we're just continually tweaking it and trying to make it better. And that's usually at the expense of getting it out there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all of us, the fear of rejection, the fear of it not being received well, yada, yada, yada. But the faster you can get over that, the faster you can start helping people.
Right.
Because if it sits in your brain, if it sits on your computer, that's not in the world helping people make improvements to their life. And so it's almost like we're doing people a disservice by not getting it out there and not offering it. And most coaches, if someone has some hesitation, maybe create a shorter program instead of being 7 months, maybe create a 6-week program and call it your beta program. and just be like, hey, I've created this 6-week beta program. It helps this person achieve X goal. I want to run some people through it just to get a good idea on the content and making sure that it's helpful, and just want some feedback. And then once you go through it, all I ask for is some testimonials or some feedback on how I can make it better. And then that can be a way to kind of safely put something out there that's a little bit less scary.
Yeah.
And get some people involved. And then, you just blast it everywhere. You blast it on your social media profiles. You put it on Facebook. You tell your current clients about it. If they want to do it, awesome. They can bring a friend, and just start getting that out there. Right.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. People are already kind of intimidated to go to the gym, work out, and do all that stuff. So thinking of a 7-month program, it's like, whoa, no, like that's too much. So that's a good point. Thank you.
So what happens, like a lot of people, especially like in the PN world, they look at PN, like their lean eating program, as kind of like a model, right? But the thing they forget about is PN is a media machine. And so they can market to, they can educate, they can do everything they need to for 12, 24 months before anyone is ever really ready to commit to their stuff. And then when they're ready, they'll commit. And so most coaches who are just individual coaches don't necessarily have that runway. And so we need to find ways to get clients now, get clients faster. And so that's where having some of these kind of like shorter programs, that's where getting in front and talking to people, presenting, educating, can be ways almost like shortcuts in a way to that process and getting people into the program. Because once you get people into the program, you get testimonials. Now you're starting to build a snowball. It makes it easier to sell it the next time. It makes it easier to sell it the next time because you have all this social proof that, hey, this person saw success. Here's what happened. I'm kind of like that person. I want to get what they have. Okay, this makes sense.
Right. That's great. Keep it simple, man.
As a gym owner, Coach Catalyst is the key to having low turnover. For several years, I struggled and spent 10 to 20 hours a week communicating with clients via phone calls, Facebook Messenger, email, and text messages. I had tried everything to make my life more efficient. I was at my wit's end. And then I found Coach Catalyst. Since starting the software, I have found a life again, and my clients are thanking me for being so involved in their fitness life. I've cut my daily commitment to interacting with over 300 clients to under 15 minutes a day and have streamlined my 6-week challenges. I couldn't recommend it more. I just don't know if I would even be here today if it wasn't for Coach Catalyst. If you don't have an account already, you're missing out and not helping the people you could be.
We all do it. Like we all try and complicate things. But it's like, how did you grow your in-person business, right? How did you grow clients right now?
Right.
Okay, cool. Just do that. The delivery model is online because you can't take any more people in person.
Right. Yeah.
And that's actually a good thing because you can be like, hey, I'm full in person. So you being full in person is already a indicator that that your time is full, that people trust you, that like you don't have capacity to take people in person, but you want to serve more people. And so you've created this program that allows them to accomplish it online, allows them to do it at home. They're going to be able to connect with you, but not in the same way because you just don't have as much time. Right. And so it adds another level of authority because you're busy. Like you're busy. You don't have time to be able to do it. And so there's another level of trust that happens from that. So I would tell that story as well, that you're fully booked personal trainer. You don't have any more time in person to take people on. And so you created this program to help people be successful in a way that works for them.
Absolutely.
And that can be how, like when you are talking about this in person, like that can be a way to just position it as well.
And so,
and then you get those,
that kind of leads me into,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was just going to talk about, Coach Catalyst, is it Plus? I was going to ask about does that, how would that be a good thing for me right now? Or is that kind of down the road when I want to scale more?
No, you don't need it right now. To be honest,
okay.
If you'd have told me we want 50 to 100 people, then we probably would need something, but you don't need sales pages. You don't need landing pages. You don't need any of that. Really, it's like 5 to 8 people. It's like have conversations, right? You want to be able to pitch and clearly talk about what you do and the problem you solve, how you solve it, talk about the pain that the people have. If you can clearly articulate all of that, then you don't necessarily need much else.
Okay.
Because you're not necessarily going to be sending cold traffic somewhere and trying to convince them with a landing page to be able to sign up for something. You could, inside of Coach Catalyst, create a product, right? And use that kind of product description to be your landing page and kind of talk about everything that they get and why we included that in the program. And then if people need more information, you can send them that link. And then that can also be where your payment link is as well. And so, it's just, if you were saying, hey, I'm trying to grow this to 5,000 people, then we need more of those assets. But at this point, like, you just need to get it rolling first.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there one day. Yeah, absolutely.
And the one challenge that you're going to need to think about too is sometimes when we get comfortable, especially with like the one-on-one personal training, like you've had clients for a long time, it's comfortable. And so it's not like this is a quote unquote kind of necessity. It's kind of a nice to have. And so there's going to be a bigger hurdle to try and climb. And mentally we have to get over this because there's not a level of urgency to make it happen. Right. And so, so then it's starting to decide like, hey, is this something I want to do or is this not something I want to do? And both are the right answer. There's no right answer. But if I'm going to do this, all right, let's do it. Start setting some kind of like, what are the goals? I should have 2 or 3 conversations a day about it, yada, 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 and try and grow it. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. But then it's kind of like eliminate that from your mental space and then just focus on the other piece. So
love it. It's good.
So hopefully that's helpful a little bit, or at least gets your wheels turning on how you can execute.
Yeah, it's it's just pulling back, taking a step back, and looking at what I currently have and tapping into that more because I've gotten too comfortable. So it's really good. Yeah, good reminder.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a ton of leverage in what you're currently doing. Exhaust that by all means before we start looking at trying like new stuff, right? Doesn't mean that you probably shouldn't continue to do what you're doing from a social media standpoint, and more as just like a qualifier that you know what you're talking about and that you can help people. And if you get some interest in people from it, great. That's like extra. That's bonus points. But like exhaust your current clients, one degree away from them, and then your local community. Can I get in front of the local Lions Club? Can I get in front of the local Rotary Club? You know, are there women's groups in town that are looking for speakers? And I would just go to your current clients and be like, hey, what groups are you guys part of? Because they obviously are interested in health and fitness. They're interested in personal training. They've hired you. And so like, where do they hang out? And then go help those people.
Right.
And then the only way you can help them is with your online program because you're all full in person. So cool.
Sorry, buddy. I'll get right to you. Sorry. My boy's, he's having fun right now.
How old
said he wants more chicken
How old
nuggets.
is your little guy?
He'll be 2 next month. And then we have a 4-month-old girl.
You guys are busy. Busy.
Yeah, so it's busy.
I remember those days.
So I'm just glad I had time for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, you do. Yep.
Well, would you be okay with me following up in a couple weeks and just kind of seeing how things are going?
Yeah, I'd love that because that kind of gives me a little extra push too and getting forward. So yeah.
Well, let's do it. Well, if you have questions in the meantime, just shoot me a message. More than happy to help. And I'll let you get to your chicken nuggets, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, Trevor, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, Seth, we'll see you later.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Coach Catalyst podcast. If you are a coach looking to do more for your clients than just workouts, give Coach Catalyst a test drive. Try it for 14 days. Jump on call with your personal strategy coach, Ashley, and see how easy technology can be, all for free. Tell them Trevor sent you. Until next time, keep changing lives.